It's a long way to the top. But if you take it step by step, you'll make it. Let's climb that VO ladder with our hosts, Troy Holden and Will Vincent.
Hey, we are back. This is, I sound like I had some echo in there. This is Voiceover Ladder, and want to welcome you to episode 3, and we're going to talk about websites today. Guess who's joined us today? There's a guy on here, and his name is Will Vincent.
Who's that?
That's the guy. I kept telling him, hey, we're going to start this podcast, and we're going to do this, and I jumped ahead. And, luckily he lives far enough away from me. He couldn't come smack the pee out of me. So it's all good. It's all good. So we're going to go through a lot of stuff today on websites as far as, do you need it? Do you not need it? What good is it? I'm just starting out. Well, here's the good part about our podcast. We're all just starting out. So, and I know, we all got our opinions, but here, let's just ask a question. Hey, Will, do we really need a website as a new voiceover artist?
Yes, you do.
Are you sure?
End of show. No, absolutely. I'm sure. So think about it this way. Some people listening might not be old enough to remember, but it used to be that you would hand people your business card. Here's me. Here's what I do. The website is the business card these days. And especially for a voiceover artist, because you can't I suppose you could hand them a CD, but you can't really hand somebody a business card and say, listen to my demos. You point them at your website and say, hey, go check out my demos. And then when you're ready, send me an email and let's work.
Right. I agree with that 100%. That's, this is the new era. Everything's different. And God forbid, I hate to even bring it up, but let's talk about, we're in this COVID thing as well. Mm-hmm. So even in our marketing is different right now, our direct marketing. So a website's highly important. And I agree. And I'll tell you guys, 100% honest. I had my website set up before I was ever on Upwork or Fiverr or anywhere. And it's just, I don't know why, because it was one of the things that I thought was a smart thing to do because I could point people to it. So for me, it was the first thing I did, which is probably very unusual, but, it was before I really knew what I was doing. And I didn't have anything on there much, but, once I got a demo up on there and stuff, and I did get my first inquiry the other day on LinkedIn asking, hey, where can I go listen to your stuff? So had I not had a website,
you'd have to point them to somebody else's service like SoundCloud, which is fine, but that's not as good, right? Because the website is you. The website is your brand. You can do what you want with it. SoundCloud, right. You can put your demos up, and that's it. I guess you can add an email link, but not much.
Right. Yeah, it limits you, and plus it gives people an opportunity to see your face. Mm-hmm. To see what you're doing, you want, this is my advice on a website. And this comes from some of the voiceover coaching that I got early on. When you pull your page up, they should be able to get to your demo and be able to click a button to send you an email without scrolling or touching anything. And I think that's good advice because you hate to scroll and look for stuff. Because when we're doing this, a lot of times everybody's like us. They're in a freaking hurry. They want to get in, get out. And that's where, back to demo importance of what's in your first 5 seconds or 10 seconds of your demo. So what do they see right when they pull your website up? So, personally, I'm using GoDaddy. I know it's not the greatest. It was easy for me to set up. It was reasonably priced. It's a little clunky in my opinion. It takes a lot of room, on the screen to me to put things in there. I've seen a lot of really good sites, and I know you've got some opinions on this.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. GoDaddy primarily is just a host. You can buy a domain from them and they'll do shared hosting of static sites. I think they'll do other dynamic sites too, but primarily they're a shared static site host, and they're very reasonably priced, as you said. They've got some building tools, but those building tools are somewhat limited. So one thing that you could do is just use a static HTML template that looks nicer and upload that instead of using their builder. And there's plenty of resources to learn how to do, basic edits to those things, to add or change content that's on the page, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for most people, they're probably, unless they're like me, I've been a developer for 20 plus years. That's my full-time job. I'm just transitioning into voiceover now, but I still have the day job where I'm building software all day. And It's web-based software. Most people probably aren't like me. So for most people, you're probably going to want some kind of a website builder. And the main two that immediately come to mind are Wix, Wix.com, and Squarespace, Squarespace.com. Both of those have more advanced builder tools than what GoDaddy offers. Squarespace in particular has really nice templates to work from. I'm not as familiar with Wix, but I'm sure they've got the same or similar. Mm-hmm. The other option would be something like WordPress. Now, the benefit of something like that is you've got a nice user interface to go in and edit content. The content loads dynamically. You pick your theme and you set it up and you're done. And then you just go edit content through the UI. You're not dealing with a builder, although there are some site builder tools for WordPress as well. And that would be like a next step up beyond a Wix or a Squarespace, because you still get all the power of the content management system of WordPress, but you get the point and click, drag and drop site builder stuff on top of that.
Right. And I think a lot of us starting out, we want to be able to manage and update our site pretty often because our demo gets better every 2 weeks or every month, and we need to be updating that. Mm-hmm. So now you have incited a question in my mind. I'm on GoDaddy. Yep. Let's say, and I'm on there for a year, so I guess it runs out in June or July, I think is when I set it up. Let's just say in March, I decide I really want to make it better, cleaner, whatever. Mm-hmm. Are we able to use WordPress and GoDaddy to do our own kind of uploads, or do we have to abandon and move that, or how does that work? Are you familiar with that?
So you should be able to. Don't quote me on this because I'm not really familiar with GoDaddy's offerings presently. I haven't used it in 15 plus years. But I'm pretty sure that they've got hosting solutions for WordPress. They may even have a dedicated WordPress hosting package.
Yeah, and I think I see something in my menu, like when I'm updating, there's something in there about WordPress code or something. So maybe.
They probably do. I'd be very surprised if they don't. WordPress is pretty ubiquitous. I don't know what the actual stat is, but there's somewhere around 50% of the entire web is WordPress sites.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
It's very high.
It's
probably more like 30, but it's still a lot.
Yeah, my fear is like anybody else's. I don't want to lose my domain. I don't want to lose the name. It's everywhere. All 17 people that have done business with me have probably got it. So,
well, here's the beauty of that. You own the domain as long as you renew it, as long as you keep paying for it, and you can move it wherever you want.
Ah, okay.
So just because you registered the domain through GoDaddy doesn't mean you have to host it with them.
Right.
And in fact, you don't even need to keep it with them. You can move it to a different registrar.
Gotcha.
I, for example, use Namecheap for all of my domain purchases. And then all of my sites currently are on DigitalOcean. But yeah, you could point your existing domain at Squarespace or Wix or hosted WordPress or wherever you want.
I got you.
So you're not locked in. Don't think for a minute that you're locked in. You can change at any time.
Well, maybe when we get this posted on the Facebook page, on the VO Ladder Facebook page, you can drop some comments in there with some of these places where folks may want to go take a look. Mm-hmm. The other thing, maybe quickly, and of course, again, we're new and we're dragging you guys with us up the ladder. So we want to get your opinions too. We'll come back and revisit this again in a few weeks. The other thing is, what do I need to put on there? And my instant advice to everybody is figure out whether it's a logo or however you're going to brand yourself, that it goes on every freaking thing. Mm-hmm. That it's in your post, it's in your it's watermarked on your videos. Try to make that one thing where it's always the same over and over and over. And I struggled with that when I started because I had 2 or 3 different little things I really liked. And then somehow I ended up with one with my black and white picture hanging out of my truck door that was and just with my name and blue collar voice of choice or whatever it was. It's on the website, and that's on my coffee cup. It's, I'm going to order a banner to hang up behind me and when I do some YouTube stuff. But find that and stick with it. So let that be first. Get yourself branded and get something you're happy with and not going to want to change. Don't make it overly complicated, but make it nice and clean to where when somebody sees that, they know it's you.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, absolutely, you got to get your demo on there. You want as top quality as you can do at this point in your career, because the people that are going to look at it are probably the people they're expecting to see what they're going to see. You're probably not on the front end reaching out to a lot of video and production houses and agencies. You might be, and that's okay if your demo will support that. But that's another podcast. But be sure you've got some demos on there, and try to get the video demo on the top. People like video. Video catches their eye. It's appealing. It's proven. They'll watch it. And then you can also drop in audio samples below, and make sure there is a link right on the front, right below your logo, somewhere to click to be able to contact you. And I'm sure there's more. Anything else you could think to add as you start up?
You covered most of it. I would say, just real quick summing up, you want your name and logo, your brand, very prominent, easy to recognize. You want your demos, your best demos, because hopefully you'll have a lot, but you want the best stuff right up front. A way to contact you, and information about you, your story. Who are you? Why are you doing voiceover? How'd you get into it? How long have you been doing it? Tell your story. People want to know about you. They want to know that they're purchasing from a person.
Right.
And ultimately you're creating a relationship. The best way to start a relationship is to tell people about yourself.
Right.
Right. And in terms of branding, I would say, if you can afford it, find a way to afford it. Hire someone to do your logo. Logo design is hard. And people who do it are very, very good. And the main key things about a logo are that you want a very strong silhouette, so that whether it's in full color, multiple colors, or just black and white, just black on a white background or white on a black background, whatever the case, it looks good. It gets the message across about who you are. It's recognizable in every situation. A very strong silhouette is very, very important for a logo. Mm-hmm. Keep it simple. You don't need mine. I say that, and mine is ridiculous illustration, and the silhouette is terrible. But but these are the things for a logo. And also don't be afraid if your first thing that you go with isn't perfect, because you can rebrand later.
Absolutely.
But come up with something that you like for now, that you can work with for a while. Ideally have somebody create it for you, because people who do the thing for a living, they're better at it.
Right.
And that's it. I agree. Make your site visually appealing. If it's just very plain and has the information, that's okay, but you got to put your best foot forward, and that comes with the website looking good and sounding good, because we're promoting demos.
Right. I agree 100%. And you can rebrand. I know I said earlier, get that brand and stick to it. Well, stick to it what you're doing now. Be sure it's on everything you're doing now. Mm-hmm. I had somebody do me some caricatures. I used them a little bit on gigs on Fiverr. They're okay, but there's nothing like your face. If you really want to put it, and you don't have to put that in your brand, I'm not saying that, but put it on your website. Like Will mm-hmm. was talking about, you might have a little introduction section. A lot of people will tell you to only have a 1-page website. That's okay. I guess that's fine, but I wouldn't mind having a second page about my business or about so-and-so. And if somebody has an interest and they want to look at it, they'll look at it. If mm-hmm. they don't, they don't. I'm not going to force them to, but I do want to give them the opportunity to, as you said, to get to know me a little more. I live in Middle Tennessee, blah, 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 blah. I've been doing this for so long. I've wanted to do this ever since I was 8 years old or whatever. And give them a little background. They do want to know you. They do want to do business with that person. And, I have noticed in repeat business, I get that because we communicate with that person and they like the way you deliver. They like the way you talk in your email.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get to talk to a lot of people. This is the era of email and text and messages on platforms. So it's very different.
Yeah. And I would say, I've heard the advice, keep everything on one page. There's, to a certain degree, that's correct. But it's also a little bit outdated. There was a time when people had this notion that nobody likes to click links. It was kind of when smartphones first sort of became big, and suddenly it was, people just want to scroll. They're just going to scroll. So put everything on one big tall page and they'll just scroll through it. And that's okay. But people still click links. So don't feel like you have to cram everything into one page. Put the stuff that's important to be there on one page. And the stuff that's important to be on your homepage are your logo, your demos, the good ones, a way to contact you, maybe a blurb about notable clients you've worked with, maybe some testimonials. That's about it.
Yep.
And absolutely put another page for your about section, put another page with more demos, put another page with links to your other various sites, right? Put a link to your SoundCloud, put a link to your Facebook, put a link to your Twitter, put a link to your Fiverr gigs, put a link to Upwork, put a link to voices.com, put a link to Voquent, put a link to whatever you're on, right?
Right.
This should be your central hub where everything that you do online and offline, you can point people to this and they can find absolutely everything about you that they need to know. That's the point of your website.
Right. 100% agree. Exactly. So this, again, this is episode 3. We're talking about websites. We're pushing into the 17, 18 minute. We're going to try to hold things to 20 minutes or so, every episode, but let me kind of leak to you guys where we're headed. Episode 4, we're going to start into a series of possibly 2 to 3, maybe more episodes, at least 3. And we're going to talk about demos. We're going to go into your own demo, how to make a semi-pro demo. When do you need a pro demo? Do you ever need a pro demo? There'll be a lot of opinions that we're going to be able to talk about. Our hope, if we can pull it off, and Will and I have both been coached by Mike Hathcote, who is very well known for helping you build your first semi-pro demo. And we're going to do all we can to get him to join us for 5-10 minutes, if we can, and let him give you some feedback. And for that, we will highly recommend him. If you are looking for someone to help, both of us will recommend him. He helped both of us greatly. There's also another guy on the ladder, Michael Robbins, who took the 6-pack with Mike. So we're going to try to get him on with us. We think he will. And we're going to get in some other subjects later, like your profile, proposals on Upwork. When you write a proposal, we're going to talk about equipment, microphones. We're going to talk about your space and how you treat it and what kind of space you're using. We're going to talk about audio and video software, your DAW, and what you're using to make your videos. We have can we say shitload on a podcast? We can't we?
Yeah, there's no regulations here. We're not on TV.
Awesome. We're going to have excuse my French, we're going to have a shitload of information to share with you, because we're on the bottom rung of the freaking ladder and we're headed up and we're all learning together. So, check with us every week. We are going to currently we are on Spotify. We're on Apple. We should be on Google within a few days. And if there's other places we need to be, we'll do it, because it's free. So we'll try to spread it anywhere we want. We'll get something up when the new podcast is released and let people know, hey, it's there. Here's some comments, about it, or some links or whatever. This may evolve into a website. We don't know. If it does, it does. We're here to support each other, and anything we can do. If there's a subject that we need to do quicker, get on the VO Ladder page on Facebook and let us know. We're not set in stone to do these things in any order. If 2 or 3 people are saying, I'm hurting with this, I need help, we'll jump in there and do it.
Yep. And on that note, if you're not yet in the VO Ladder group on Facebook, you're hearing this and you've never seen us on Facebook, come find us. Just search VO Ladder. You'll find us. Send a request and we'll let you in.
Maybe.
Probably.
We very probably will. If you can play nice, we'll let you in.
We might kick you out later, but we'll let you in.
There you go. That's why you're the admin. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back soon. It may be a week. It may be less. As popularity and requests come in, we may drop a couple of these a week. But we hope we've been a little bit of help today in talking about a website. And reach out to us if you need some help on the page. If you got a direct question, that's the best place because we're on there all the time checking things out. So we're there. Will, my friend, thank you for dialing in with me, and look forward to the next one.
Likewise.
All right, everybody. Old Tater says, see you later.
That's all, folks.